And the first question was from Zuleika. And I could tell that she was going to be like the serious judge. She was like the straight, like everyone that was on the panel was super engaged, very responsive. You could tell that they were interested in what I had to say, and they were like, oh, you know. And so I thought that was great feedback. Anyways, went to the other side. Zuleika was the straight face, serious. And they're not here to intimidate you, bring you down. They just want to get to know you. It's a conversation. And some of the girls were praying, some were very anxious and jittery, some were just listening music, some going over their bios. I was there just like waiting. I felt so honestly, I mean, I've been doing interviews on talking about my story and my platform and everything in my bio, which is so genuine to who I am forever. So I knew the interview was going to be a breeze. And I was in the interview room with Belgium. And so we got in. Yeah, she's so lovely. And I walked into the interview room and I was so excited. I think I was like beaming, like my smile was so huge because I was so excited. So I remember walking in and I walked to the first panel of judges, and the first thing they said was, "Wow, what a smile!" And I was like, I'm excited. And so they just got right to it. And my first question, I can't remember who was on each panel, but I remember my first question was from Brooke Lee. And she had asked me, she was just like, okay, getting right to the point. And she was like, so tell me about your story about gender-based violence and what is gender-based violence. So I spoke a little bit about that and my platform, how, you know, I come from a loving, supportive family, and even I have fell into an abusive relationship. And that really goes to show it could happen to anybody. There's no perfect mold of what a survivor or victim of gender-based violence looks like. And I went in about that. And I had another question about my prime minister. I'm one of the only countries there with a female prime minister. And she had asked, what is it like being led by a female? And I just went into that, how she leads with surety, empathy, and confidence. Even though she knows she has a huge amount of power, she still knows she walks amongst us. And, you know, she's so incredible. And it really goes to show how being led by a female leader, even during a pandemic, has completely changed our lives, because Barbados is, I think it's right now number 11 in the world of almost being fully vaccinated. Our whole population. And that's not just because we're a small island. That's because we've also been able to have access to vaccines because of our prime minister, because of the rollout plan and all of that. And then I have another question about which female leader in the world do you look up to right now? And I spoke about Kamala Harris, how she's broken down so many barriers and glass ceilings for women. I think it's important that we have inclusion, diversity, and representation. And she has done so much more for women than I think we've even acknowledged at this point. Because in 2021, it's baffling that women are still celebrating so many firsts within society, whether that's in a boardroom, a classroom, a medical room, positions of power or leadership. And I think she is going to truly pave the way for so many women. And I'm really excited to see what's in store for the United States after a wild 4 years. And I think I said what I said, but I'm really excited to see what the country can start looking like with a female vice president in leadership. Obviously, none of those answers were that long, but because we have only 4 minutes, like you said, you want to make sure that you're spending enough time answering the most important part of the question with the most impactful answer. And so I spent about 30 to 40 seconds on those 3 questions. Paula Start was on that side, and they were recording that side of the interview. And I was very happy with my interview. And I went, then the little bell ringed off, and I was like, okay, well, thank you. And then I switched to the other panel in the room. And then I remember walking over, I was still very excited. It was like, so again, they got right into it. And so she told me, she asked, so why did you get abused? And that's when I just went into, you know, I think society does not hold enough accountability for aggressors and perpetrators. And, you know, we would rather victim blame than give women this justice. And I spoke about how while I sought out safety, I never got justice in the end. But that doesn't stop me from advocating for other women to continue seeking safety. And I think it really has a lot to do with our justice system that needs to be reformed to start protecting women as equals. And, you know, we've just excused so much behavior of men within society for years now. And to truly break the cycle, they need to understand that there will be repercussions. And so I spoke about that in a little bit in my story. I was asked by one of the judges, what was it? Oh, I'm coming to Barbados. Tell me what my itinerary is like. And so that was an easy question. And so I talked about Barbados and what we are going to be doing, eating, the places we're going to be going. But what's going to make you want to come back is the warmth of our people. You're going to make some genuine connections that you feel almost obligated to come back and continue that. And then the last question that I got, so I did 3 questions on each side. The last question that I got was, if someone came to me as a victim of gender-based violence, how would I console them? And for me, I said, while each experience is going to be different, I can resonate with some of the feelings that you're going through. I spoke about how important it is to not just wait for that perfect moment to choose you, because essentially that's never going to come. There's never going to be that one morning you wake up and you're like, you know, today's a good day. Today is the perfect day. That's never going to happen. You have the confidence to take a chance on yourself, and knowing that when you bet on you, you will never lose, and only you can find your destiny and your path in life. And I spoke about the platform that I'm launching, which is Women's Survival Diary, where women can share their stories anonymously, and there's a support group in there that will help you seek safety and justice and all of that. And just continuing sharing my story. So that was that. And that was the end of my interview. And the bell rang again. Thank you guys. And I walked out of that interview room beaming with excitement, pride, joy. I know that I could not have done a better job in the interview. I answered everything, not just to the best of my ability under pressure, because, you know, you have a whole lot of time to think then. You only have 4 minutes. And even walking out, I never had anything in my head that I said, oh, I could have said this, or I should have said that. Like, not, because I know everything was literally the best answer that related to me and my story, and that would relate to other women, that I could have given. So I remember after the interview, I went back up to my room. I called my national director. I told him everything, and he was so proud. I was on a high after that, and you couldn't touch me that day. I was happy. I was unstoppable. I felt amazing. And, you know, I think there was one golden rule that my national director told me is, do not cry in that interview room, no matter what they ask. That's like the goal. You know, you don't go, it's a job interview. Miss Universe is a job. You don't ever go to any other job and cry in your interview, regardless of what they ask. And I know a lot of women went in there with stories similar to mine, or even other platforms, and you know, we've all experienced hurdles, criticism, hardship through them, but you have to be resilient enough, confident and courageous enough to be able to talk about it to anyone all the time, because that's what you're going to be doing as Miss Universe, you know. So that was my thing. I was so excited to talk about my platform that when they kept asking me questions, I was like, So I was so happy, because I loved sharing my story, and I was just so proud, honestly. Proud.
Yeah, I could feel it from here. And you know what? While you were talking, I was thinking like maybe Miss Universe next time would like remove the countries and would just look at your names instead. Because like, you get what I mean?
I think that's a great idea. At the end of the day, I'm also a businesswoman.
Oh yeah.
So, I know there's a lot of politics. I know there's a lot of money involved. I know sponsors are heavily involved, and it's a business. That's all I can add. It's a business. But and while we quality and fairness, we judge, it's a business.